Yes, I bow down, Lord, before you. Without hesitation, without reservation, Lord. Because I love you. And I thank you for your goodness and your mercy and your love. I bow down before you, Lord. And I don't care who sees me, Lord. Because I love you and I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm not ashamed of what you've done for me, Lord. Heaven is your throne and the earth is your footstool. Jesus, I come to bow down at your feet. Oh, how I love just to worship before you in your presence. My joy is complete. Worship with us right now. I will come and bow down at your feet, Lord Jesus. In your presence is fullness of joy. There is nothing, there's no one who compares with you. I take pleasure in worshiping you, Lord. There is nothing, there is no one who compares with you. I take pleasure in worshiping. I take pleasure in worshiping. I take pleasure.
You know my way. Now, you write down what I'm going to tell you. These, the church development during the first century is very important for all of us to understand, because this is the basic church history. Now, it is my request to all of you to memorize these, the major events, to memorize it, as I do memorize it. Now, here, briefly, I'll tell you, Jesus was born in BC 4, and Paul was born in AD 5. And Jesus' public ministry started at the age of 30, which is 26 AD. And AD 30 is the major year. His crucifixion and his resurrection and his ascension. All these were had taken place in AD 30. At the same time, first church, Jerusalem church, was established. So all in AD 30. Okay, the Jerusalem church had more than 20,000 members in total within a very short period of time. But the church did not go out for world mission. The church did not obey Acts 1:8. Acts 1:8 claimed that from Jerusalem, and Judea and Samaria and to the end of the world. But the church, Jerusalem church, did not obey that. So in 3 years after the church plant here, God gave them persecution. The Jerusalem church persecution. Can you read it? Yeah. And church got spread all over. You can see this map here, the Jerusalem church here. The people got spread, they got scattered. They were scattered all over, even to Turkey areas, all over. Some of them arrived in Antioch. Some of them arrived in, over here, Damascus, which is the capital city of Syria. Have you heard Damascus? Yeah. So all the Christians in Jerusalem church got scattered around the Middle Eastern countries. In the same way, if your church does not obey the Great Commission, sooner or later, church will be corrupted. And then members will all be left and scattered. And church will become very smelly church, fighting inside against each other, cannot find any good quality Christians within, ended up with division and quarreling, and later church will die. Later means maybe 20, 30, 50 years later. And the building will be empty or will be sold by them, and so on. Throughout the church histories, from this first century all the way to 21st centuries, history tells us. Okay, here. Now, some of the members who left Jerusalem church went up to Antioch Church. See the map there, Antioch Church? And the leader, one of the leaders of the Antioch Church was not Barnabas, Simon. You know, Simon who carried the cross. Okay? And later Barnabas joined the church. And Barnabas invited Paul to his church. Officially here, no, later here. Now here, and in AD 35, Paul was converted. He was on the way to Damascus, right here, from Jerusalem here, to persecute Christians who were there, who came from where? Most of Christians who left Jerusalem church. Yeah. And Paul was going to go out and persecute those former Jerusalem church members who were evangelizing Syrian people in Damascus. So right at the foot of the Damascus, he was converted. He was hit by the light of the God, right? So he became a Christian in AD 35. How old was he at the time? 30. Why? Because he was born in 85. Yeah. Paul became a Christian at the age of 30. For 10 years, he was hidden in solidarity. You know? He was hidden in loneliness without being known to people outside. Nothing but meditating with the Lord Jesus for 10 years as a lonely man. That will apply to your life as well. If you are called by God as Paul. At a young age, if you are famous, that's the sign of curse. Later you will be a very arrogant person. Now here 10 years disciplining until AD 45. And Barnabas at the time was the senior pastor of Antioch Church. Invited Paul to his church in AD 45. So he became officially the assistant pastor of Antioch Church at the age of what? 40 years old. 40 years old. From that time, 1 year they stayed together in the church, beginning in 46 to 48. Paul and Barnabas went out to mission field, which we call it the first missionary journey. Okay? You all heard about that. You studied from my video. Yeah. I'm just reviewing very quickly. And 50 to 52, second missionary journey. During the second missionary journey, look at this map here. He planted many churches, very many well-known churches to us. It's 7 churches in the province of Asia. Like here, Ephesus, Thyatira. You know 7 churches? Philadelphia, Sardis, Thyatira, Sardis, Smyrna, Thyatira, and Laodicea is this, and Philadelphia, and the Sardis, Thyatira, all these, you know, all these 7 churches in Asia. He planted all these churches right here. This area is called province of Asia. Okay, during the second missionary journey. He continued on. He planted right here in Macedonia. That's his church called Philippi. And also right here in the capital city of Macedonia, even today Macedonia. Macedonia is the northern part of Greece. Still now today is a nation, Macedonia or Macedonia. Philippi and Thessalonica. Okay? And he visited Berea here. And later Athens and Corinth. Like that. So during the second missionary journey, Paul started from Antioch here. He went all the way, planted all these churches. This is Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, and Sardis, and Philadelphia, and Laodicea. And later, right here, that's Colossae. So all these names are familiar with us. Memorize it now. During what missionary journey? Second missionary journey. What years? 52. Memorize it. And he crossed Europe. This over here, its right side is Asia, the other side is Europe, right here. Okay. Now he planted what? This one? Philadelphia? No. Philippi. Memorize it. Philippi. Thessalonica. Berea. Athens. Corinth. Let me repeat. Open your mouth. Corinth. Philippi. Okay. This area called Macedonia. Yeah. Now, after the second journey, he took off for third journey. Third journey was simply revisiting those churches that he had planted. Revisited. Then after that, he was imprisoned here in Rome for 2 years, beginning in AD 60 to 62. During his imprisonment, he wrote the prison epistles, prison letters. What those are? What those are? You don't know? Okay. What those are? Ephesians. He was imprisoned in Rome here. He wrote letters to Philippians Christians and Ephesians Christians. Okay, right here. And Colossians. Philippians, Ephesians, and Colossians. And one more personal letter, Philemon. Memorize it. Just not just the listening. then you cannot teach others. Tell me what those 4 prison letters. You look at the map. Philippians, Ephesians, Colossians, and personal letter called Philemon. Okay. After he came out of the prison, he commenced the 4th missionary journey. Number 4 missionary journey. He revisited all these churches again, and he went to Spain. This is Spain here. He went all the way to Spain. And on the way back from Spain all the way back to his area here, Macedonia and this area, he wrote 2 letters. One, the Titus in AD 65, and second, the 1st Timothy, letter to 1st Timothy in AD 65. Then later in AD 67, he was imprisoned. 68, he was imprisoned again. Okay? Which is his last part of his, which was his last part of his life. In his imprisonment in Rome, same Rome, he wrote his last letter, the 2nd Timothy. 2 Timothy. Second Timothy is the last letter of St. Paul before his martyrdom. And after his death in AD 70, Jerusalem temple was destroyed and the nation of Israel conquered by Roman Empire. AD 70. Okay? Okay, now write it down. From the first church of Jerusalem all the way to AD 70, which is 40 years. 40 years of evangelism and world missions. Starting from Jerusalem all the way to Spain. All the way to Spain here. After the persecution of Jerusalem church, God scattered his people throughout these regions here, these southern Europe and Turkey, to fulfill the Acts 1:8. To fulfill the Acts 1:8. Many churches were built by St. Paul and his disciples. during the first century, there were major 5 well-known leading churches in Northern Africa, Middle East, and Southern Europe. Major 5 leading churches. Number 1 church is church in Alexandria, right here, Alexandria, in Egypt. This church was founded by Saint Mark. You know Mark, who wrote the Gospel of Mark. Okay? Yeah. So this church exists even today. And this special church called Egyptian Orthodox Coptic Church. Egyptian Orthodox Coptic Church founded by Mark, Saint Mark. Now, second famous church is Jerusalem Church. The Jerusalem Church was founded by whom? By 12 disciples of Jesus Christ. Led by Saint Peter. Okay. Later joined by James, who is a brother of Jesus Christ. James. You know James. James was not the disciple of Jesus Christ. At least there are 5 James in the Bible. I'm talking of James, the brother of Jesus Christ. James was not the follower of Jesus Christ. During the 3 years public ministry, he even opposed to the ministry of Jesus Christ. But later, his resurrection, he admitted Jesus is the Son of God. And he joined the Jerusalem Church. Eventually, 12 disciples respected him so much simply because he is the brother of Jesus Christ, physical brother, not blood related. Okay? Do you believe that? Not blood related. Okay. The son of Mary. Actually, the first physical son of Mary is James. So James, because of his physical, the relationship to Jesus, 12 disciples respected him so much. And they even considered James as their official leader. So now, during the first century, the official leader of the Jerusalem church was James, not Peter. Now, third famous church during the first century was Antioch Church. Antioch Church. In Antioch Church, located in Syria, the church had five leaders. Those names are listed in Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Acts chapter 13, verse 1. They are Barnabas and Simeon and Lucius and Manaen and Saul, that is Paul. Okay? The Antioch church was very much well known as a missionary sending church. The Great Commission oriented church. The Antioch church was the father and mother church of all remaining churches, such as 7, 8 churches in Asia Minor, Asia, even Philippi, Thessalonica, Corinth, all these, even church in Rome, Romans, all these churches are descendant of which church? Antioch church. Antioch church had sent out missionary Paul to plant these churches here. Not only sending missionary Paul, but through their financial and prayer, moral support. Financial and prayer and moral support and spiritual support to Paul and his companions. As a result, the Antioch church is the most important church during the first century. Also, number 4 church is Constantinople church. Today, that city is called Istanbul. Istanbul. That is the headquarter church for Greek people. Greek. The church was very small in the beginning. We assume the church was built by Paul. But later, 3rd and 4th century, the church was the major church for Greek Christians. But the name Constantinople is not the Greek name. That is the name of Roman emperor. In AD 313, this emperor, AD 313, this emperor acknowledged Christianity as his official religion for Roman Empire. So this man, this emperor named Constantinople, is very famous in this sense, because this man officially adopted Christianity as their emperor, their empire's official religion in AD 313. But Greek, at the time, the Greek people did not like Roman influence. Even Greek peoples were on the Roman Empire. That city at the time was called Byzantine. Okay, it's a Byzantine. Have you heard the name Byzantine? Yeah. In order to comfort dissident Greek people, okay, against Roman Empire, and Roman government gave that famous king's name to the city, that from now we will call the city Constantinople, which is the Roman emperor's famous name. From that time on, during the Christian church history, that city was known as Constantinople. But about 500 years ago, which is about 1500 AD, that city was conquered by Islamic forces called Ottoman Turkey. So Turkey became, Ottoman. Have you heard the name Ottoman? A-T-T-O. A-T-T-O-M-A-N. Ottoman Empire. It's a very strong empire by Turkey. So Ottoman Empire, which is Islamic Empire, changed the city name from Constantinople, which is a Christian name, to today's Istanbul. You got it? And the last church, number 5 church, is a Rome church. Church in Rome is Italian church. Italian church. Although all these churches were under the Roman Empire, because Roman Empire started in BC 63 until 476 AD. Roman Empire constitutes whole Europe with except Germany. Would you write it down, that part? You have to do that. Whole Europe with an exception of what country? Germany. Germany. And almost whole Middle East and Northern Africa. Let me repeat. Whole Europe without Germany, and Middle East and Northern Africa, which is Northern Africa, right here. All these vast territories, okay, were under the Roman Empire for near 500 years. 500 years. From BC 63 to AD 476. Okay? Now, so that these 5 major churches, okay, although the national origins are different. Egyptian church here in Alexandria, Jerusalem church by Jewish people here, Antioch church by it's a Syrian church, okay, although many diasporas there. Constantinople church is operated by whom? Greek people, Greek. And Roman church now operated by whom? Italians. Okay? However, since all these churches were under the Roman Empire, without any questions at all, Roman church was the most powerful and influential, okay, church. Why? Why? Because it was Roman Empire, period. But these other churches here were against Roman church's pressure. And they had developed their own doctrines and their own biblical teachings. So many theologians and scholars came out of these four churches, more than Roman churches. So first about 300 years time, this Alexandrian church had given birth of many famous theologians, so as Syrian church, so as Constantinople church. That we will go over that later. Can you see this early first century, the church development? You have to know this development. I hope you all memorize this.
재림을 준비하는 영적 추수 사역에 일조하는 도구가 되기를 간절히 소원합니다.
I want to hear the gospel in my language. 지수 그리스도하မြန်မာပြည်အတွက်ဖြစ်ပါတယ်
यीशु हम सब की निजात के लिए मर गया ख्रिस्ती ব্যায়াম কামনাগে বাকুতেনিয়া কুনুমারুটা ঈশ্বর আপনাদের ভালোবাসেন ঈশ্বরের পুত্র যিশু খ্রিস্ট আপনাদের জন্য মৃত্যুবরণ করেছিলেন
耶稣爱你，你相信他必有生，愿神祝福你。